Dear me, remember those barriers we faced? I've discovered ways to reshape our narrative. Let's dive in, shift our mindset, and embrace an authentic life. Time to rewrite our story. Love, present me. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Power-Up Project. My name is Jason Tharp, the resilience expert, brain cancer survivor, and storyteller. And I want to teach you in a short little burst of energy here what I've learned through storytelling, how you can adopt that storytelling into your everyday life. And I am going to use my story as a way to help you reshape that and look at your story from a different way. How can we rewrite our story when maybe I'm not a creative person and I can't see a way out of it, or I don't know how to create a story and stuff like that? I want to just kind of out of the gate let you know that you are a storyteller already. You tell yourself a story from the second you wake up, whether it's you reach for your phone right away and you start the comparison trap of social media. You start to tell yourself all the things that make you different than everybody else, whether it's judging the person in front of you or yelling at the person that's cut you off or whatever. There are all stories. Stories are just experiences that you attach emotion to, and they have meaning to you. Some to other people, some to nobody. But you're a storyteller. And how do we reshape those things? So one thing is that you have to confront is just your limiting beliefs. You think that there's a limit to what your possibilities are. We can let that go. We believe that there's things that are holding us back or preventing us from achieving our goals. In reality, what those are is just you telling yourself all the reasons why you aren't going to be able to do those things based off of a past experience that has long since passed. And I want to talk to you a little bit about the importance of self-care, and then we're going to talk a little bit about building a support system. Those are the kind of things I want to go through as we start to build this story. So when we start to build a story of like unlimited beliefs, what we start with is a story that says like this: once upon a time there were, and then you fill in the blanks. This is where you get out a piece of paper. This is where you start to write down all the things that you wanted to do. You define what the possibilities are for you. Stop looking at the thing as a filter of these are all impossibles. Dream a little. Remember what it was like to be 4 and you got a new toy. That thing got to be and do all the stuff that you wanted to do. The possibilities were endless. Get out that paper and do the same for yourself. If tomorrow you could have anything you ever wanted, what would it be? Write it on that piece of paper. Get it out of your head and put it in reality. Stop just thinking about what you want and start to think of what you could actually do. Now, there may be some of those things on that paper that don't matter, but get it out of your head, because then you can kind of see it and see what you're thinking about. And in that, there's a formula that you could start to build a story around. Just like any good story, there needs to be a beginning part. Create your characters. Give them definition. What makes us love stories is the fact that we like the character. We're rooting for the underdog. In a lot of ways, if you are somebody that's building a negative story, you already are the underdog. So why not build that character into the hero? How do you change the narrative of that story that you're telling yourself into a story that you become the hero of your own story? And a lot of times what that is doing the exact opposite of what you're doing right now. That doesn't mean that you're wrong for having felt those things or limited yourself. A lot of times we do those just to protect ourselves. But what we have to do is realize that in the world that you're trying to build, possibilities are endless. Deal with the other stuff later. Right now, we're just dreaming. If others are telling you what's possible, forget that. This doesn't matter. This is a conversation between you and you. This isn't a comparison story. This isn't worrying about everybody else and how they're going to judge you, because I'm going to tell you right now, they're all going to judge you regardless if you do what you want to do or you just do what they want to do. Because no matter what you do, you're not going to please them. So just let that go. It's a waste of energy, and it is limiting you to what is possible when you spend so much time worrying about what other people are thinking about what you're doing. Just be happy being you. The other part, taking care of yourself. The value of self-care, whether it's therapy, whether it's walking, whether it's working out, whether it's drawing, whether it's bongos, I don't care what it is for you, that is a version of self-care where you can step away from all the noise that you're creating in your world and others are bringing to your world, to step back from it and take care of yourself. Ask yourself better questions. What do I need in this moment? Stop thinking and talking to yourself. Go for a walk and just stop and listen. Ask the question, remove yourself, and then the answer will show up. And a lot of times it's going to show up in a spot that you did not think it would. The answers usually, for me, show up in a shower. It'll show up when I'm walking, like just in nature, listening. Sometimes it's driving. But most of the times when I'm trying to force it, it's not the right answer. It'll feel like the right answer, but it sends me down a spiral path that I end up realizing that the answer was way back there and it was a lot easier than I thought it was. And I wasted a lot of time chasing the wrong rabbit. I've done that a million times. So there are tons of different kinds of self-care. It's physical and emotional, mental, spiritual for you maybe. There's all kinds of ways you can focus on books. You can get energized by videos. There's so many things out there that are self-care, and I want to advocate for therapy. Sometimes talking to somebody that's completely disconnected from yourself is a great way for you to find exactly what you're trying to find. The answers. Because when somebody's not attached to all the emotions that are kicking around your head and you can just kind of say, they can see the solutions right in front of you that you have been looking for, but are so hard to find, and it's all in you figuring out how to just express it and being willing to step into that pain a little bit. And then the power of having a support system that is there for you. We all have that friend that will be there no matter what, that we can say anything to, and they understand. Those people are invaluable to us. That is our support system, just like a great bridge or a building. It's unwavering. It can withstand any storm, and it's always going to be there no matter what happens. But the question I have is, do you have that same support system for yourself? Are you building up a supportive system within here that allows you to fail, that is graceful in accepting that not always are things going to go your way? There's going to be revisions to this story, and there's going to be evolutions of the characters, and sometimes you're going to play the villain. How do you overcome that when you can express outside to that support system and they can give you all of the information that you need? Can you be supportive to yourself and take in that information and use it to build a structure for yourself that when all of it goes haywire, that you can figure out a way and be supportive of yourself, because you're going to need it. As you rewrite this story, you're going to face versions of you that you don't like. We all want to spend time with the version of us that we do like. But I can promise you this, that if there's anything that I've learned, is every bit of the parts of me that I really love right now came out of the deepest parts of me that I hated. Because the fear was the last line of defense. The hate was the wall that I built. And it was the love that I had for myself that allowed that wall to crack just a little bit. And it didn't take a huge crack for that wall to crumble down. See, fear shows up in our lives at this big thing, and it's very intimidating. And it makes us want to stop all this stuff because we just can't handle anymore. But if you just push a little bit further, you're going to find inside of that fear lives the love that you're looking for yourself. And as that wall crumbles, then you can start to shape the story. Then you start to become the hero. Instead of pretending that you aren't those things, you can start to say, maybe I am those things. And it's that little word maybe that opens up the possibility to hope. Hope is an amazing thing. It starts our beginnings. It starts the first step into breaking what seems impossible right now. But you got to move. You can't just hope all the time and think things are going to change. You actually have to take action. You got to start writing and be willing to go through rough drafts and be willing to throw stuff away. And eventually what you're going to find is this story starts to shape and it makes sense. And as you go further along in the story, things start to fall into place and it's not as hard as it used to be. But you're still going to be a villain sometimes. And you're going to have to face a new version of you. But the good thing is you have all this experience behind you now. You have this story that you've written that you can look at and say, look at what I overcame here. That was supposed to be hard, but I made it through. Guarantee right now, something that seemed like the most impossible thing for you to overcome maybe 2 months ago is so far in the rearview mirror that you have lost the value that you actually can overcome things that you think you can't, just because you're just taking the wrong perspective of it. So build that support system within inside yourself as well. If you don't have a support system outside of you, be brave enough to put it out there in the interwebs, right? Reach out to people. Tell others that you know that I'm looking for somebody like this, or just search for those things. It's out there. If you go looking for it and be brave enough to step into and take a chance on yourself, all those things are out there for you. So I want to wrap this up with leaving you a little bit of a power up and just remind you that you have the power to rewrite your story and create the life that you truly want to live. You don't have to let anything or anyone hold you back from being the thing that you want to be. And sometimes we can be our worst enemy. And I know maybe right now you're telling yourself all the things that makes you feel like you're just not worth the effort. That's just fear talking to you. Maybe you were like me. You build a wall of hate around yourself. And you don't want yourself to feel anything but that. But I bet if you get quiet enough and you ask the good questions, you'll find that inside there, love is waiting to come through. And when you let it through, you're going to find that you're pretty cool and you're doing the best you can. And that's all you can do. If you need somebody to be proud of you, I'm proud of you. Just keep doing what you're doing. It takes time, but you'll find out and figure out who you are and start building a story that one day you're going to look back and go like, I'm glad I took that effort to pick up that pen and just write. Hope this helps. Power up.
Foxland Media. Think big.